Have you ever seen a single sheet of paper tear a country apart? Can the fate of one man expose the darkest prejudices of an entire society? And how does a scandal, born in a quiet military office, erupt into a battle that nearly breaks a nation in two? This is the story of the Dreyfus Affair, a scandal of treason, lies, and injustice that consumed France at the turn of the 20th century. You are watching Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. If you want more untold stories brought to light, subscribe to our channel and join us on this journey into the past. Paris, 1894. The French Republic is fragile, humiliated just 2 decades earlier by a crushing defeat at the hands of Germany in the Franco-Prussian War. National pride is wounded. The army is revered as the shield of the nation, and questioning it is unthinkable. Amid this tense atmosphere, military intelligence intercepts a memorandum, later called the bordereau, found in a wastebasket at the German embassy. The document hints at betrayal, at secrets flowing into enemy hands. But who was the traitor? The army needed a culprit, and quickly. They found one in Captain Alfred Dreyfus. Dreyfus was a loyal officer, ambitious and precise. But he was also Jewish, one of the very few Jews admitted into the elite ranks of the French army. For many in the military establishment, that alone made him suspect. Handwriting experts were pressed until they saw what their superiors wanted, that the note matched Dreyfus's script. There was no real evidence, no motive, yet the decision had already been made. In December 1894, a secret military court convicted him of treason. What followed was a spectacle designed to humiliate. Before a furious crowd, Dreyfus stood on parade ground in Paris. His sword was broken in two, his epaulettes ripped from his shoulders. He declared, again and again, "I am innocent," but his words drowned in a chorus of, "Traitor! Traitor!" France seemed united in hatred. Newspapers screamed betrayal. Pamphlets spread caricatures dripping with anti-Semitic venom. To many, the case was simple. A Jew had betrayed the fatherland. But the truth, as always, was far more dangerous. As the years passed, cracks began to show. Colonel Georges Picquart, the new head of military intelligence, reviewed the files. He noticed something strange. The handwriting on the bordereau did not match Dreyfus at all. Instead, it resembled that of another officer, Major Ferdinand Esterhazy, a man with mounting debts and suspicious German ties. Picquart sounded the alarm, but instead of being praised, he was punished. The army exiled him to a remote posting in Tunisia. Admitting error would mean disgrace. It would mean admitting that anti-Semitic prejudice had condemned an innocent man. And so the cover-up deepened. In 1896 and 1897, word of the injustice began to spread. Writers, lawyers, and intellectuals started asking questions. Why had the evidence been kept secret? Why was Esterhazy acquitted in a secret military trial, while Dreyfus rotted on Devil's Island, a desolate penal colony off the coast of South America? And then came fire. On January 13, 1898, the French novelist Émile Zola published an open letter in the newspaper L'Aurore. Its title, J'accuse, I accuse. Zola accused the army of corruption. He accused the generals of lies. He accused the French Republic itself of betraying justice. "The truth is on the march," he wrote, "and nothing shall stop it." France exploded. Supporters of the army shouted treason. Defenders of Dreyfus demanded truth. Crowds clashed in the streets. Neighbors turned against neighbors. The affair was no longer about one man. It was about the very soul of France. Zola was put on trial, convicted of libel, and forced into exile in England. But the spark he lit could not be extinguished. Finally, after years of struggle, retrials, and relentless campaigning, the truth prevailed. In 1899, Dreyfus was brought back to France. The retrial was still rigged, and he was convicted again, but the sentence was reduced, and he was soon pardoned. It would take until 1906, 12 long years after his degradation, before Alfred Dreyfus was officially exonerated and reinstated into the army. The scandal left scars. France had nearly torn itself apart. Dreyfusards against anti-Dreyfusards, Republicans against nationalists, secularists against the church. Antisemitic movements gained strength, even as the struggle for human rights and truth was galvanized. And yet, Alfred Dreyfus never lost faith. He returned quietly to military service, fighting with honor during the First World War. He never sought revenge, though his name had been dragged through the mud, his life nearly destroyed. What does the Dreyfus Affair mean for us today? It is more than just an episode of injustice. It is a warning. It shows how fear, nationalism, and prejudice can combine to destroy truth. It shows how institutions will sacrifice an innocent man rather than admit mistakes. And it reminds us that sometimes the loudest voices of reason come not from the powerful, but from those who dare to speak when silence is safer. One false accusation split a nation. One act of courage, Émile Zola's J'accuse, helped save it. And one man's suffering became a symbol of the fight for justice that still resonates more than a century later. The Dreyfus Affair is not just history, it is a mirror. It asks each of us, when justice is on trial, which side will we take? You've been watching Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories the textbooks leave behind. And remember, the past is never truly past.